Hi everyone, it's Master Wong here today. It's another beautiful day today, and some of you, they're watching some of the first interviews that we're talking about into self-defense, into the martial art talk with Nick already, and some of you just love it, and a lot of you just asking a lot of this question like, when you're not young, how do you not get into the martial art, everything else? So today, I have the honor to interview him back and asking him a little bit about the childhood and how he learn and become martial art online teaching self-defense, because you just don't come in and learning and teach self-defense. So it comes through some form of childhood and stuff like that. So I will ask him now, and we start to talk a little bit about it and go from there. So Nick, welcome into the show. And can you talk
Master Wong, back on track. It's a pleasure to be on. I love talking to you. And our last video, a lot of people left some comments, good questions. People love the energy. So I'm excited about this because everybody starts martial arts because at some point, there's something that happens in their life.
Right.
Either they're bullied, picked on, took a beating, they're scared, they're the smallest kid on the block. There's always a reason. So that was one of my reasons.
But in your case, a lot of time, many people have that kind of problem. In your case, you have the strange kind of stories that in your life when you get started, isn't it? So tell them about it.
Yeah, I grew up, I was the smallest, skinniest kid on the block. I grew up in I could probably say like probably a lower class neighborhood and a more of a, you know, I'll call it quote unquote tougher place. You know, so I was a small kid. I got picked on, I got bullied on. And then I remember I took a beating, and then I said to myself, you know, I was a kid, I was maybe 9 or 10. And I went to my parents, please, I want to do Kung Fu, please. And my parents didn't have the money. And I begged for months. And finally I remember they're like, fine. My father took me, where's the school? It was the Kung Fu Silam Hung Guard. I think it's actually the Wong brothers.
Right.
It was in Park X on Jean Talon upstairs. And I remember I was like, again, maybe 10 or 11. And that's when my martial art journey began. And I loved it. And like once I walked in there and I started doing it, I became obsessed with it. And I fell in love with it. And then my journey just started from there.
So the interesting thing is when you're young, you said you're in a bad neighborhood. So that means it's a lot of people doing drug, or is there a lot of people there? They are not very, they're poor. So they're not got thing to do. So they got time. They're going to pick on people and stuff like that you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah, you know, I shared one of the stories. With a kid that really bullied me a lot, and I remember the day that they really like bullied me bad. And you know, when I went to my parents were like, you know, back in the day, it wasn't like, oh, poor kid, are you okay? They looked at me and it's like, okay, and like, it's your problem, figure it out.
Right.
So I was like, fuck, I got to learn how to do something. Nobody went to their parents. And, you know, today we do that and it's good. You know, people are bullied. They should talk, go to the parents, go to their family. But at some point you're going to have to fight back. You're going to have to stand up for yourself. Whether at some point you're going to have no choice, that if somebody grabs you and they're about to hit you, I tell people, win or lose, you might as well fight back. You're in the fight, give them a fight. That's my theory. What's your experience, Pastor?
So yes, me is slightly different because I'm half Chinese and half Vietnamese when I'm back in Vietnam. So that's very different to when they got a civil war. They got like Chinese fight with the Vietnamese. So all the Vietnamese want to kick out all the Chinese. You understand what I mean? And that's where I have a lot of that kind of problem, because I just don't like you there. You don't like the Vietnamese half people, they're half breed there. And that's when I'm getting a lot of beatings that way. So it's slightly different. But when I'm young, my family is, my dad is like came away, come to England on the boat, not England, go away on the boat, you know, I don't know they're dead or alive, you know. And my mom is like quite, you know, they're not in properly in the head because their husband not there, another son not there, so she's like, she got to go to work and it's communist country. So
Oh
she's
my
got a lot
God.
of problems. She get home, I get beat up. She don't even know, don't even care. You know, like
Yeah.
what happened to you? Who care? Bap, 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 you know? And that's what is it? All the time. So this is the problem with us, you know? So how you overcome that to be able to learning and able to doing things?
Well, that's the thing. So then I started doing Kung Fu, and I started building more confidence. So I started standing up for myself more. I started, uh, you know, uh, building my confidence. I started training. But then it was hard when I went to high school because, I was still the smallest kid with braces, headgear. So it was tough. And I went to a pretty rough high school. So, I most of my high school, I tried to avoid as much as I could because, it was not, they would carry weapons, a lot of gangs there. And then at 16, I got kicked out of high school. So, and I shared this story openly. I'm a high school dropout. Till today, I've never finished high school. And because I was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia, I had learning disabilities. And then I said, okay, where did I feel the best in my life? Was doing martial arts, training. And after that, I dedicated my life to just, then I did boxing and kickboxing and different reality-based self-defense. And I taekwondo, and I just followed that path of martial arts. And next thing you know, years later, I'm 23 years old. I'm working as a bouncer in a nightclub.
Right.
So the journey's been this, and then I'm working at the club, and now I'm thinking, holy shit, this is not a drill. They're not exercises. Suddenly you're fighting for real. People, some badass, mean people who want to hurt you when you start working at the club as security. So that was more or less my journey.
I think it's everyone have the idea of being bullied, and some of you look at this as a victim, as a problem. Now, some of you out there watching through this and know that we are got this kind of problem ourselves as well. Comment below here, tell me, and Nick here, you've been bullied in school, or you've been problem bully at work, or whatever kind of bullies there are. Tell me how you overcome your problem. Nick overcoming through the martial art. I overcome in different way, little bit, and go through the martial art because when I'm young in Vietnam, I'm getting a lot of problem and all sort of thing. When I came to England, I get beat up at the same time when I came to England, 11. And then I never finished school at all. Not even get high school. Never got chance to go to high school.
I think that's so interesting that we both never finished high school. And yet we still manage to find our passion, make it a career, and inspire and motivate people outside of what the system tells us you're successful and you're not. So I think that is amazing. And it's a great way to tell people that in any position you are in your life, you could achieve and pursue your dreams if you work hard, if you believe in yourself. And I think that's a really good story.
I think it's the important thing people need to understand. Yeah, a lot of time need to understand this. Okay, I talked about this a lot when I came to Vietnam. Last couple of weeks, I go back to Vietnam. I just finished my book and stuff like that. So I come back to Vietnam, and then everybody turn around and said, when you meet this bully on people, what you gonna do with them? Do you gonna smack the face in? Do you gonna beat them up? What you gonna do with them? Because you know how to defend yourself now. And I said to them the same thing, most of them. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with them to when I meet them. Because some of these people bullying you, they might not want to bully you because it's a situation puts them in that way to want to do that. And a lot of time you don't know. So when I go there, when I met all these people on there, most of them are dead, or all of them actually is dead. It's dead. So all my bullies is dead because life is simple, when you in this situation, you start to bully people and you don't look at yourself and understand yourself, someone will bully you. And sometimes the bully we are taking is very light. It's not like life and death. But because of this like habit, when you start to bully somebody and then you bully somebody else's, they're maybe scared, they're worried, they're not sure what sort of people are you can bully them. That's why they're coming in. You can't bully people when they're face to face. But life, you got to go to sleep. Okay? You need to eat. Sometimes you do this kind of thing, you forget about your enemy. And that it's the time that come for you. So most of my people, they're dead one way or another. Most of them are involved in drug, so die on drug overdose. They're involved in gangs, so they get their home, they get killed because of other people come around, then they chop them up. So that's where all my bullies gone. So that's what happened to my bully.
I have a great story and I made a YouTube video about this and people loved it. I used to work at the hospital about 10 years ago before I opened my business and decided to make this as a career. And there was a kid that bullied me. He was in a gang and he was a very, very dangerous kid. And I remember him and two of his buddies. I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. And they beat me up and he took off his pants and he stuck his ass in my face. And I remember and it was like, as much as I fight them, I was small and they were 3. And I remember this kid's face. And years later, I heard he was in prison, really fucked up. So I'm working at the hospital, at the cafeteria, and I see him face to face. And he's skinny, he's half my size, he looks like a crackhead. And I look at him, and I'm serving the food. I said, is your name Baby something? I go, is your name Baby? He goes, yeah. I go, do you remember me? He goes, no. I go, you used to bully me, man. I go, you made my life a living fucking hell. And he looked at me, and in my head, I'm just thinking, motherfucker, I want to jump over the counter, grab your head, and smash it across. Like, I mean, at that moment, everything came back. I felt, and today I'm very calm because I've learned to channel that energy. But in my head, I'm thinking, I wanted to smash his face. And then I said, just, and then he went away, and then I thought about it. Then he came back and he goes, by the way, man, he takes out his hand, he goes, I'm really sorry, man, if I bullied you, man. I was young and I was stupid. And I shook his hand, I go, no, man. I go, you know what? Thank you. I go, it's because of you, I became tougher, I became stronger, I built my confidence. So it's all water under the bridge. And sometimes I didn't feel the need because I know at that moment. And a second story is one of the bullies, when I went to high school, this guy used to carry knives. He was fucked up. I walk in the bank and I see him. And I walk right up to him and I stare him right in the eyes. And in my head, I'm thinking, say a word. Just say one word so I can. And then he's looking at me and he's getting nervous. He doesn't say anything. And a couple of years or a year ago, I heard he died of an overdose. A lot of times these bullies,
that's right,
they're in gangs. They never make it up in life. Very few. Right. But if they keep that behavior, your bully and your attitude will only get you so far in life. After a while, you're finished. You're done with that shit. You're the big, strong kid in high school. But when you're 30, the business guy is the guy who has the power, the control. It's not, nobody gives a fuck,
And I find that so important. So when I come back there, I see one of the guy, his brother still alive, dad is died, brother's died, his younger one hang out to do it, beat me up and everything of their died. Few of their people around that area that died. So I come around and visit the dead. And they remember me, And first, I'm a very naughty boy in that time anyway. I'm not like say, I'm not a naughty boy, And really, do I deserve it? And sometimes I feel I do, I feel that I do deserve to get a beat up like this. But that it's made me who I am. Because I feel that sometimes you're getting bullied. You need to look at it. You are the victim, or you're going to using it as a learning that made you to become strong, made you to become the better version of you, made you step out of line, and made you to doing something to be who you want to be, And I'm so glad that that really I feel like I'm glad that till now I'm glad that they fucking beat me up. They beat me up. So it's bad in that time. But I saw the mom. The mom is ill and don't feel well, so I give her some money to helping her and stuff like that. And I said next year I come back because I didn't know I find a place where I live, because in Vietnam they built over the whole mountain and they're put into the sea and they build houses. So it takes us ages to find where we are. And it's only 2 person older, quite old, live in that area that they remember me. most of them, they're not there no more, they're dead, you know. And that's what is it. And I come back and I said, that's what I do. I like to able to help people, able to people to understand, to overcome their problem, because sometimes you bully and all this problem is not, don't need to worry too much. You need to be able to take it strong and able to look at it and able to make a difference on it, you know. So look, that's what is important.
You build your character to look. Obviously, bullying is bad, right? But it exists. It existed, it exists, and it will exist forever. And we talk about bullying when you're a kid, but your wife could be a bully, your husband could be a bully, your coworker could be a bully. Like bullying is part of, sadly, part of the human nature. So what we need to do is at the same time, you need to build your character through it. And the resilience and strength you get on how to overcome a bully is also the same drive for me to be successful in my business, to train hard, to work hard, to say what I do and do what I say. It's all part of wiring who you are and building your strength as a person.
I think this is so important for people out there to learn, you know. You not just get bullied at school when we're young. We talk about young now. I still get problem online. We get bullied online. We get bullied in many different things. The bully is never end, okay? It's never end. Let me tell that straight. It never end. Doesn't matter. You overcome when you're young. When you're getting older, you go to work, somebody will bully you. This is but the true thing about this is you need to understanding is need to know yourself, need to be strong, need to believe in yourself that you can able to do certain things and do things you love. Because if you have that and expressing that for you, then people will take this and don't take no for it, you know. And sometimes bully, don't need to using the fist to smack the face in. Of course, you're gonna love it. You're gonna want to get the head and smack them on the ground and make sure shit over the place and end. But after that, it's a nightmare for you. To be success, get something you want to do, the bully, I tell you one thing I experienced, the bully hate you even more if you're successful and you have the compassion to helping other people, and that will kill them even more, you know. And that's what is it. I think this is a beautiful thing, and we do the same thing here, you know. We go online to what we love.
I love what you say, because one of my friends says the best revenge is massive success. And you're right, we get bullied online. I personally don't care, right? People can say whatever they want. I believe in myself. I believe in what I do. We're here to coach and train people. We're not here to fight people. And I tell people, you could be a great fighter, the best fighter. And I've trained professional MMA fighters. I trained one. I trained with them. We trained together. Great, you could be the greatest fighter, but what else are you doing in your life? Because being a great fighter is one aspect. I tell people, are you a great fighter? Okay. Are you a great father? A great husband? A great businessman? How are you giving back to the community? All that to me is part of the martial arts of integrity, of honesty, of standing up for what is right and standing up for what is good and being the best that you can be in all the areas of your life. If you're just a bully and you're beating up everybody, to me, it means nothing. It just means you're just, okay, you know how to fight. Big deal. So what does that prove? In today's society, it doesn't mean much. At our age, it means nothing.
I think that's perfectly said. You know, I just talked to Sifu Singh, and something he says so beautiful, like yin and yang. Learn to understanding, cultivate what you've been learning. To bring it in course every day you do. That's why you need to learn about knowing yourself. Knowing yourself is one of the most difficult things that you need to learn to understand, because you need to look at the mirror and know, do you really know who you really are as a person, as a human being? Yeah. Know your enemy. Need to understanding people out there. If you're gonna beat them up today, soon you're with your wife, your kid, and you're busy, they're going to put the brick onto your head or the baseball ball bat onto your kneecap in front of your kid, okay? And you will never, ever, okay, stand up again. This is so important. I've been through all these things here that people need to understand. Fighting, nowadays, you got to understand, nobody fight fair, okay? You can beat people up one day when you go to sleep, when you go to do certain things. When you're getting older, they come back. And if you're the fucker, they will come back to bash you up even harder. If they can't get to you, they will get someone you really love. So life is a very important thing. Learn to cultivate what you're learning, to know yourself, learning to do something good to society, and learn to be good with human being, every human being there is in the world, because we are living this planet together, okay? And we are work with each other to learn, because if you're better than me, so fucking what, okay? Everybody better than everybody, you know? If you're good at this, so what? It doesn't matter, okay? So learning to understand, to accept that somebody will be out there better than you. You know, every hill is always got another one bigger and better, okay? It doesn't matter. As long as we understand all this, we can able to work with each other and learn to be, you know, good human being, compassion, you know, have that right kind of stuff like that. We get on very well with everybody in the world and no problem at all.
You know what, Master Wong? I worked in clubs. I saw people get shot. I saw people get stabbed. I saw a kid die in front of me. He got stabbed and he died in front of me. I hate fighting. I say to myself, the next time I have to fight, it's for my life. So that's why I always teach: diffuse, de-escalate, be aware, walk away. But when you have no choice, you fight with everything you have. Now, when you've seen people, and I have my son, he's 11 years old. I'm thinking now, how am I going to train him when he starts going to bars and clubs? And I've seen there's no fair fights. Go to a bar, go to a club at 2 in the morning and see people get drunk, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, bottles, gangs, people. When you see that, you realize the danger of fighting. There's nothing poetic. There's nothing cool about it. Ask any soldier that goes to war. When he comes back, it's not like, oh, I went to war, it was so cool. And it's no. When you've lived it, you don't hate it. And we're there to train people, to teach people different areas of self-defense on how to avoid it. But when you need to fight, you fucking give them everything you have. You fight till the very end. So that's important for people to know.
And I think that you put in there as a perfect right, you know, because a lot of time people don't understand that. And this is why they never take, they need life. Okay, life is full of experience. Everything is experience you learn. You learn something when you go to do something, you might want to do this, but when you go and do it, you don't like it. You learn through the experience, and then you're using that experience to helping you, to bring you become better. Some people learn it and using it. Some people learn it, go through it, and they don't learn the mistakes they've been doing, okay? Now, in any kind of conflict, if you made a mistake, okay, somebody got killed, you will be in prison for a long time, okay? 2 of my students in prison at the moment for life, okay, for murder, okay? I've been through a lot of this thing. I'm not there to try to talk to people about this and that, and everybody on there said, why don't you doing real, why don't you doing this? You don't, when you don't understanding this kind of stuff, it's very difficult to educate. And this is not people we want to serve. We want to serve the people that want to learn, to understand. And if you want to go through this experience on yourself and learn it, when the time comes, you go through this experience. When you go through this experience, and then you can start to understand it, then you can understand what we're talking about. But when you're not through the experience yet, then you don't know what we're talking about. You can go out and play, okay? And then when you got a problem, you haven't got no time to play, because when you're in jail, your life is finished forever, okay? And this is a big problem people need to learn to understand.
Absolutely, Master Wong. I totally agree with you. And this is why, like, I when I teach, I always teach people all the phases of a fight, right? You have everything prior to the strike, you have everything during the fight, you have everything that could happen after a fight. The fight doesn't end because you won or you lost. The fight could end in his head. He might be planning something 3 months later. And that's something people need to learn, that when you decide to turn on that switch and decide to go preemptive and fight, there's a lot of consequences to it, right? And the amount of force you use must parallel the amount of danger you're in. But that's not always easy to measure, because you might take it like your life is in danger. He might not. And at the end, who knows what's going to happen? That's the thing with a fight. What's dangerous, it's unpredictable. You can't scale it or measure it, right? You have to take that decision in that moment, in a split second. Do I fight? And what is the consequences of my actions with what I'm about to do? But we're trying to teach everybody that as well, when, as best as we could, through each of our experiences and our systems and what we believe.
And this is so important you mentioned there, you know, a lot of you watching this, comment below and tell us what do you think of it, okay? Because a lot of time we only want to talk about things, doing things through our experience. And we teaching through that, and we feel that, and we have passion of doing it, not just saying things that we don't meaning anything, okay? Yeah. To teach you certain things, to teach people certain things, it's very easy, okay? It's like, why do you need teaching people to learn informal martial art? Why do you just buy the knife and the gun? Just shoot somebody. Why do you need to learn any kind of discipline or any kind of control or any kind of knowing anything? Why? Why do you need anything like that? You don't need to, okay? All you need to do is just go and get a gun and a knife. People talk to you, cut the goddamn throat, and that's it. The idea of we live in this world is not Wild West. People need to understand this. We not at the time we are like, we getting bullied very young. We young, we kid. Okay, doesn't matter how much we're gonna do or fight. It's no life or death involved because we still the kid. We don't have that mindset of killing. We don't have so much of hate that we go and try to burn somebody's house down afterward. We don't have that. We just have that in the minute when you see somebody you don't like, you hit them up and you do some bashing, you do all the things you need to do when you're young, and that's it, end. But when you're getting older like this, okay, human being, we think, okay, certain thing you say or certain thing you do that hate you. When they hate you, they're thinking about where you live, who you got, okay, at home, and then they start to attacking you that way, okay, and that is become the nightmare of you. Because how do you know what happened when you go out and with your kid and you're not prepared? So training, like Nick, you just told about, just right. When you're training, you need to understand and preparation all this. Know yourself, know your enemy. Know your ability and know your surrounding. If you don't understand this concept and what's going on, and when the shit happen, you don't know, okay? You don't know what to do. You're not armed, you're not ready, you're not prepared for everything. And when you're not prepared, when something happens, all your skill of learning is in the bin because you're not gonna use it when that moment comes.
Well, you know, Master Wong, I love what you said, right? Because we're both on YouTube, we make videos. And when I hear a dumb comment like, I'll just get a gun and shoot him. Okay, man, and tell me how your next 20 years in prison is gonna be. Like, that's right. You know, like when I hear these comments, like, I'm just gonna pull out a knife and stab him. Like, yeah, and you're gonna go to prison for it, right? It's right. Not, if you have a gun, and if I have a gun and you don't, and you pick a fight and I turn around and shoot you, guess what? I'm going to prison for it, right? Again, force and danger must parallel, and it's all shades of gray, and then it's up to the court system to decide what is self-defense and what is not. But the idea that I'm just going to shoot anybody or I'm just going to stab anybody, when I hear these type of comments when I make self-defense videos, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe if the guy's got a gun and you like carry and you're gonna use it, fine. But that's in most countries, you're not allowed to carry. So you can't, I mean, the idea that I'm just gonna, you know, have a gun in my shower when I get attacked doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. This is the big problem. This is why we learn teaching people to understand. Some of you watching through this and you like what we're talking about and you like to listen to more what we're talking about on this, and you can learn like we just talking about before. A lot of time it's about listening and see, because if you made one mistake in your life is finished. Okay, that's it. Your life is finished. You can't do anything. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You made one mistake. So before you make any kind of mistake or anything like that, think, okay, and train. Train martial art doesn't mean that you go in there to teach you to become the invincible. Train martial art to becoming your mind and know yourself to you able to understand it. When the situation comes, because you've been training, you're strong, you can take a lot of beating, okay, and doesn't matter. So you can take that. It's not big deal, okay? But when you don't train, you don't know what to do, you don't know what is it. That's when you carry stuff, okay? And that becomes dangerous for you, okay? Me and Nick, we teaching online, okay? You can find Nick online doing a lot of different martial art, different video on there. He got 2 channels on there. You put in there, you will see. And when you go on mine, you will see he's come up as well on the side. And that's it. And we do have a lot of people criticize. And to us, it doesn't bother us at all. What you criticize, what you're talking about. Because all of this, it don't really mean anything. It don't make sense to anything. We don't comment on people. We don't talk about people. We just concentrate ourselves to become the better version of ourselves. So if you like this kind of thing, then comment below and tell us if you want to know more. Anything you want to add on, brother?
No, I just want to tell everybody, you know what? Before you learn how to throw a good punch, a good strike, train this. Because at the end, this is the hard drive. This is the computer that's going to navigate everything else. If you don't train this and you don't learn how to use your mind, your logic, if you don't train this, everything else will fail. You'll do stupid shit, right? So train this, stay humble, keep your ego in check, and, and after that, it's just, train hard and believe in yourself. And that's it, man. I think, Master Wong, you pretty much summed it up.
I think that's a perfect, some of you out there want to do anything and stuff like that. Me and Nick here, we will do seminar. And also we're going to probably doing the trip of the retreat as well, because the unique thing about us, the difference between seminar and the retreat is the seminar, we only got 1 day. You only meet us, do some training. The retreat, we spend time with you. We spend 10 days with you. When we spend 10 days with each other, we start to know each other. We start to feel about each other. We start to find your problem. We start to know what your problem is. And we're able to helping you, because helping you is not just about 1 day. You do this, do that, do the movement, and then you understand. Understand when and how you're going to use it, and how to make your life better. When you finish the training and your every day, you look after yourself, look after your family, look after people around you. It's crossover on everything you do in life. It's just like buying insurance, okay? It's not buying insurance when a shit happens, then they wait for the payout. Buy insurance to make sure you're not going to have that problem, okay? And that's what it's all about. So, me here, the Master Wong and
Nick Drossos. Guys, thank you so much.
I will see you all very soon.